Well, hello, you beautiful fucking Plasma-born 369 subs. So I've been wanting to make this video forever, and I was feeling really down today. Like, fuck, man, just it was in my astrology and everything, but a lot of shit's changed and a lot of shit's coming to a head, and I just fucking kind of sunk into a dark hole and retreated from everybody. Um, Went to the gym and took a nap, and anyway, so I was like, you know what, fuck that, let's do something positive, let's make something good out of it. So for a while now, I've been fucking reading countless books and listening to countless audiobooks of Rudolph Steiner, the occultist from the turn of the 19th century. Oh my god, man. Just so many epiphanies, so many realizations have clicked since then, absorbing all this knowledge, all this gnosis. And the dude was so ahead of his time. Back then, at the turn of the 19th century, there was a massive spiritual awakening with humanity, especially in the West. The East was already very spiritual, but in the West specifically, an evil was forming. It was growing, much like how Sauron gathers his forces in Mordor and was stirring. Same thing was happening here in America, in the West. And this is because of the Industrial Revolution. The big robber barons, you know, the and the really evil 13 bloodlines were basically bringing humans off the land, out of nature, out of the farming, and putting them in factories and in cities and very large evil corporations were being born. The J.P. Morgans, your Rockefellers, etc., etc. Warburgers, right? Is it Warburgs? Warburgs or Warburgers? Warburgers would be a funny name. But anyway, the 13 bloodlines, the assholes that have been enslaving humanity for centuries now. Your J.P. Morgan, like I said. You also had great minds like Tesla during this time coming out with insane inventions and technologies that would free humanity. And I think it was J.P. Morgan actually was one of the evil bastards that stifled him and ended up going with Edison's model to control energy and put it into a matrix of power lines and grids instead of Tesla's dream of free energy and ionizing the ionosphere with free energy. But anyway, evil was forming and taking power, and great minds were having spiritual awakenings. And one of those minds was Rudolph Steiner, a German philosopher, professor, occultist. He had the ability to tap into the Akashic record, much like Edgar Cayce, and Miss Blavatsky was one. There was a whole awakening going on, and anyway, it culminated into the First World War. So evil basically won during that time, but not really. It was just kind of a cyclical occurrence what was happening with humanity. We were basically, since the 1500s, 1600s, 1700s, humanity was basically went from paganism and worshiping idols, and atheism was being born, and humanity's energy, so to speak, was being put into the head instead of free flowing in the torus. So a lot of intellect basically was being worshipped. Darwinism also came out during this time. Materialism, atheism, which is another form of evil, unfortunately. And I have an article here that I want to read for you. It's a long one, but it's so fucking on point. And it's in the vein of Rudolf Steiner's occult teachings. And it's written by an author named Douglas Gabriel, and from a website called neoanthroposophy.com. And anthroposophy, Rudolf Steiner basically created that. It's basically spiritual science is what it means. So there's another thing I should preface before I start. And basically the article is about transhumanism. He was calling transhumanism, because it already had started back then through Darwinism and etc. Like I said before, the elites were trying to basically merge with technology, and the Luciferic force or consciousness, which is a more selfish force, and the Ahrimanic, which is basically cyber Satan, which is the entity that wants humanity to merge with technology and break away from God's fractal simulation. So in this article, it's going to talk about Luciferic or Lucifer. It's going to talk about Ahriman or cyber Satan. Basically, Lucifer, in the context of Rudolph's work, is a sun god or a archangel that fell and became service to self, and wanted to basically play around and reign in the world of matter, specifically in our solar system. So it's like a consciousness that seeps into humanity and gets humanity to become more selfish. The Ahrimanic force, or Ahriman, or cyber Satan, is different. It's a more grandiose service to self evil entity that seeks to basically enslave all of humanity and build its own simulation, synthetic one, away from God. So it's going to talk about him too. And then also there's other entities that are evil as well. So there's a whole pantheon or tier of plasma beings in Rudolph's work, or his pantheon of gods, so to speak, or angels. So there's the archai, which are above archangels. There's archangels, and then there's angels. So it's going to talk about that too. But so you have, those are the bad guys, the main ones, so to speak. But the good guys is Christ consciousness, which is also a sun god or a solar god, but it's working for, the big God, and you got your Christ, your Sophia, it's not just men, it's women too, or not women, but masculine, feminine consciousness, or polarizations of energy and consciousness. So let's just get started, all right? All right, here we go. We are engaged in a raging battle to defend the living etheric realm from the forces of darkness that intend to crucify Christ again and prevent his second coming. In the etheric realm of the cosmos, earth, and human etheric body. If you are not aware of this battle, then you may have already been overcome by the illusory and selfish cold light of Lucifer, working in your astral body to make you feel like the king/queen of your own subnatural realm of personal astral desires. And fuck, isn't that the truth? I myself have fallen in that context many times, and I still do. Or perhaps the dead gray light of Ahriman's delusion has already entranced and hypnotized you until your heart has become cold and devoid of selfless love. Many have been lulled into a lazy, comfortable surrendering of their will to the Asuras, who are inspired by Sorat, the sun demon. Sorat intends to consume the human I am in contradistinction to Christ's mission of re-enlivening the living etheric realm with his own cosmic etheric body that brings the waters of life and the grace of love to all who can rise up to this realm and witness Christ's second coming in the etheric. Rudolph Steiner tells us that the second coming of Christ in the etheric realm is the second most important focal point in the human spiritual development. The mystery of Golgotha, which is the life, death, and resurrection of Jesus Christ, is the most important turning point in human history. We are living in a crucial time for the development of humanity, and each individual is a battleground in the spiritual war that is fighting over human thinking, feeling, and willing. The outcome of this battle is not yet known, and the soul and spirit of each human can evolve into supernature and develop higher thinking, feeling, and willing into the spiritual capacities of imagination, inspiration, and intuition. These are the higher realms governed and populated by angels, archangels, and archai that work to help humans spiritually evolve. Just like I told you. On the other hand, the spiritual war for the etheric realm and the battle to stop the re-crucifixion of Christ can be lost, and the soul and spirit of humanity be drawn into an evil realm of fallen spirits called the eighth sphere. This binary realm of two-dimensional beings are luring, transfixing, and hypnotizing humanity into a sub-nature realm ruled by the condensing forces of electricity, the binding forces of electromagnetism, and the destructive and fragmenting forces of atomic materialism, intent on enslaving humanity in the eighth sphere. So, like I said, the synthetic technology, AI, Ahriman, Cyber Satan, 1111. The forces of Christ can conquer the onslaught of Lucifer, Ahriman, and Sorat's Azuras. To compound the battle, the physical being of Ahriman has incarnated in North America as a counterpole to the incarnation of Lucifer in Central Asia in the 3rd millennia BC. Ahriman's influence is quite profound, and his materialistic, abstract, mathematical worldview has turned human thinking into machine intelligence, a foreign and alien intelligence that is the gray shadow thinking that Steiner describes, that runs along the spider web of electromagnetic lines encircling the earth. Human thinking, which can be filled with warmth, light when focused on virtue, love, and morality, is being turned into shadow images of cold light that draw the soul into dark selfishness. It is Michael's cosmic thoughts that should be drawing humans up into the realm of the etheric, where living thinking can become aligned with angelic thinking in the manifestation of imagination, higher thinking. Instead, the unwitting warrior in this battle is pulled into his electrical device or machine and soon begins thinking evil thoughts unconsciously. Your fucking phone. Lost my place. The human double grows strong when it assumes it is personally deserving of the marvelous inventions that scientific materialism has brought place at its disposal. You all feel that on such a profound, deep level. You know it. The phone is fucking evil. And we're kind of jacking into the Matrix, like Neo when he plugs that shit in the back of his brain to fight the Matrix. Mechanical omnipresence is a delusion of the heart. Consciousness and gratefulness are the keys to overcoming the immense technological forces that wish to draw from the human being its future spiritual development and replace it with selfish immediate gratification that makes the user of the device a thief in the night who takes advantage of other people's work and effort without gratitude or consciousness. The modern technology user is given what seems to be superhuman powers in the palm of their hand. The user can ask any question of her device and have the answer almost instantaneously via a search of the internet, where almost all knowledge is stored and easily accessed. Any question can be answered by the user's seemingly omniscience, electromagnetic computer-driven device. The words omniscience, I don't think I've ever heard that word. Almost anything that has ever been written down, or any video that has ever been filmed, or any data byte of knowledge ever recorded can be available to the uninformed, uneducated, and generally ignorant tech user who can now look like a god of knowledge via the Ahrimanic device. Remember, Ahriman is Cyber Satan. Just real quick, Ahriman is a Zoroastrian god, basically, in the when the hell was this? I think it was around Persia, where Zoroastrian was born. Uh, Zoroaster is their god basically, and their good god, and then Ahriman is basically their Satan in that religion. So he uses those references a lot of Zoroastrianism. The Lucifer temptation of knowing all is an illusion and lures the users into ever-growing unconsciousness as gray shadow thinking that is found in the virtue world of machine intelligence takes over human intelligence. Gray shadow thinking. For some reason, a gray alien android popped into my head when I read that. The tech user learns from an alien intelligence, AI, and then pridefully believes that we are smarter than humans and have even become a superior thinker. The spiritual scientist, on the other hand, becomes a thinker who has warmed his thoughts with love instead of a selfish ego illusion of superiority through materialistic thinking. This astral illusion created by Lucifer draws thinking into the trap of enslavement in a personal world of seeming technological omniscience. Is it omniscience? I think the word is omniscience, not omniscience. I'll just start saying omniscience now. When a user of tech science becomes fluent in social media and the internet, they can connect all their contacts instantaneously, no matter how far away they live. The tech user's Facebook account may have thousands of friends, and they may participate in hundreds of groups. When they send out a message, it may reach thousands of people instantly. And if they post an interesting video or URL link, they may get millions of hits and likes. The more hits, the more stimulating the mechanical interaction can be, which may engender an addiction to the process of tech stimulation. We all know what the fuck that is. Internet addiction is a well-known disorder in the modern age. Fuck yeah, it is. This type of delusion, believing you are communicating with many others, is seemingly a type of technological omnipresence. The idea that you can be everywhere at one time is magical thinking, and yet machines convince us that we have friends we have never met in person. The tech user has traveled all over the world through Flickr, Google Earth, or live feeds of video cameras all over the world that make the users think they are truly global citizens. Mechanical omnipresence is a delusion of the heart that fosters a tech user's belief they are a social person and well-linked or well-liked individual, even though they may speak in person with no one. Omniscience, omnipresence, and omnipotence belong to the future of humanity. Let's hope so. Your entire life can be programmed into the Internet of Things until the line between human and machine blurs. If you have a house in a distant place and want to turn on the sprinkler system because your phone informs you it has been quite hot there, you you simply push a key, and the Internet of Things seems to be omnipotent and can reach out and affect netbots anywhere on the earth. This omnipotence is not earned by or deserved by the tech users and tends to lure, hypnotize, and imprison the unconscious and unwitting user in a virtual world. The spiritual scientist knows that omniscience, omnipresence, and omnipotence are products of the future spiritual development of humanity. In time, as we became angels, archangels, and archai, we will develop higher thinking, feeling, and willing that resembles these stages of consciousness. So basically, it's ascension. Go from a human to an angel, which I believe is 40, or 5D, and then climb the ladder to archangels, archai. Lucifer, Ahriman, and the Asuras, inspired by Sorat, try to bring these future stages of spiritual development to humanity through mechanical means, a type of mechanical clairvoyance, clairaudience, and clairsentience. Ahriman himself will even start a school of spiritual clairvoyance that will delude followers into believing that they are becoming clairvoyant through mechanical means. Just look at Klaus Schwab and the transhumanists. Ahrimanic clairvoyants will not agree on what they see because they will be looking at gray shadow thoughts of the spiritual world, which will be tinged with the base astral nature of the person and thus will produce spurious results which lead to spiritual materialism and ultimately the eighth sphere. Lucifer's enticing allure, Ahriman's brilliant cleverness, and the overwhelming power of the Asuras to consume the human ego are the weapons we must fight against in the battle in the etheric realm to guarantee the etheric resurrection of Christ and assure his second coming. We must become conscious of this battle between good and evil and find our personal place in this war. There is no passivity. Okay, you came here for a reason, to participate in one of the most epic battles ever on this planet. Okay, it's a spiritual war, and you have been recruited. The war is within our very own etheric body, and we cannot escape it. The war is also collective and takes place in the etheric sheaths around the earth that Rudolph Steiner called the realm of spiritual economy, the etheric ring, Shambhala, the New Jerusalem, and the living realm of angelic imagination. Without the health of the earth's etheric sheaths, the human etheric body cannot be healthy. Remember how I always say that the earth is layered like an onion in frequencies and dimensions and realms? The battle rages all around you. The battle is within us, but it is also waged outside of us in the etheric body of Mother Earth. The wisdom of the beings of the Kyriotetes, Kyriotates, the personal battle for our own life body affects every other person on Earth, as well as the future of life on our planet. If we lose the battle individually, we will reside in the eighth sphere after death in a physical two-dimensional world instead of evolving through time into the fourth dimension and beyond where the higher hierarchy dwell, 4D, 5D, etc. The battle is raging and the losers are quietly ignoring the enemy's weapon, which is collapsed in their own hands. They don't realize that weaponized subliminal programming is coming from every digital device and that they swim in a continuum of electromagnetic frequencies that bombard them from all directions. Sorat's digital weapons have lulled the innocent user into believing they are virtual kings and queens in their own selfish domain. Influencers, especially Instagram influencers, fucking TikTokers. When fallen angels stand ready to do the tech user's bidding, it is hard to lay down the harmful weapons that have come to define who we believe we are. One large solar flare could wipe out all digital memory and electromagnetism on the Earth for a long period of time. Micronova. The losers in this battle would simply stop existing as the being they thought they were when they were augmented with miraculous digital machines that were actually the weapons of their enemies. The internet is out of control and at this point controls commerce, education, and social life in the West. The Internet of Things, the smart grid, now they're trying to collapse the dollar and move to digital currency. Fuck. The modern teenager might die if all of Ahriman's weapons cease to function. Thus, it is easy to see the true control Sorat and his followers have over the I am of the human being ensnared as a tech user. Are there solutions to the war in heaven that has now come down to earth? Are there spiritual scientific weapons that can be used against the enemy as Michael used the sword of God to strike Lucifer down from heaven? Can we consciously face the evils of Lucifer, Ahriman, Sorat, and the Asuras and scientific materialism and win the battle? Where do we look for assistance in the battle and find a way through that doesn't just simply reject all technology? See, technology is not bad. It's about balance. We could use technology to ascend. You know, we don't have to fucking go from fractal beings to just synthetic beings. So, did Rudolph Steiner show us a path through the mechanical takeover of human evolution? Should we ignore or combat the incarnation of Ahriman? What can protect us in this war for the soul and spirit of each human being? So this is going to be part 1. And you know what, fuck it, let's keep going. One of the best descriptions of the spiritual weapons that can protect and defend us during this war is found in the Bible, and it's Ephesians 6:12-17. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. Pretty epic. It's gonna be a long video, by the way. If I run out of memory, I'll just make part 2. With the armor of God, truth, righteousness, peace, faith, salvation, the sword of the Spirit, and the word of God, we can win the battle and gain victory in the war against the principalities, powers, darkness of the world, and spiritual wickedness in high places. According to the author of Ephesians, these spiritual weapons may seem tame compared to the spiritual wickedness in high places, but they hold the key to divesting evil's power. The higher beings of evil that are described are actually fallen hierarchy who are far more advanced than human consciousness at this point in human spiritual development. We are fighting beings of the rank of hierarchies called spirits of form. I think spirits of form are actually above archai, which are above archangels. So these evil can ascend into very powerful forms, by the way, if you didn't know that. Sorat was a spirit of form who fell from grace. Ahriman and Lucifer have fallen also, and they are from the higher realms of the principalities, powers, and high places referred to in the quotation in the Bible. We need to know the names and nature of the evil that we must confront to maintain proper spiritual evolution throughout this battle for the soul and spirit of humanity. We have heard about the evil ones and their wicked nature that use evil methods for luring, entrancing, hypnotizing tech users. But what we need to know to antidote evil's intent is, who is there to help us counter the raging war? It's us. Us bringing on Christ consciousness. Christ will defeat the evil intentions of Sorat and his ego-eating Asuras. Christ works through the combined forces of the 7 Elohim who lead the spirits of form. Sorat, like Lucifer, consciously fell from grace and stood against the proper evolution of human development. Sorat wants to steal the egos that Christ helped create and plant in each human being. Christ lends to humans their personal egos until a higher ego can be developed out of wisdom, grace, and love. 3D, 4D, 5D, heart center. Each personal angel stands ready to help the evolving soul find their higher spirit. And now we're going to go into Christ consciousness. The Holy Spirit of Christ also works directly with the personal guardian angel to imbue the individual with gifts of the Comforter of Christ. So we all have guardian angels. We have beings that are, I call them my guides. I call them my angels. We all have someone watching over us. Another being who works in the realm of the human being's angel is the being Rudolph Steiner calls Anthroposophia. This being works intimately with each person who is questing for his or her higher self. In the past, Anthroposophia has been called other names: Theosophy, Philosophy, Isis, Sophia, Anthroposophia, and Sophia. The cosmic wisdom of Christ. Steiner gives many details about our personal relationship to Sophia, who he calls the midwife of our spirit. With the help of Anthroposophia, the higher spirit can redeem the selfish thoughts of Lucifer and turn them into unselfish cosmic thoughts of the Archangel Michael, who is leading time spirit archai of our age. Through the Holy Spirit and anthroposophia, human thoughts can become imbued with the spirits of wisdom and become Michaelic cosmic thoughts. The process is the antidote to Ahriman's gray shadow thinking. So Michael is like a archangel who basically is a sun god, like Lucifer, and like Christ, Sophia, and is here to help us and to kind of monitor our spiritual evolution. But Michael is more of a warrior type. In the realm of the archangels, Michael has ascended and progressed to the hierarchical rank of the Arachai, becoming the spirit of the times, our current zeitgeist. After, dude, this is one of the craziest synchronistic things because I've had so many experiences with Michael and I never understood that. I was never a Christian, you know, but then I read some of the occult shit and some of the biblical shit and it was like, oh my God, dude, I'm literally embodying the current zeitgeist of warrior consciousness for this spiritual battle through the Michaelic thinking. Michael will remain in the ranks of the Arachai. The being known by the name of Vidar in Norse myths has ascended and progressed from an angel into an archangel to fill the rank previously held by Michael. Vidar manifests the human etheric body and works with archangels to inspire humanity and lead them towards spiritual realms. The being of wisdom, called Sophia, also works into the realm of archangels from the hierarchical rank of the Kyriotes. It's a weird word. Like I said, Kyriotetes. I don't know how to pronounce that. The beings of wisdom are directly linked to the archangels and their evolution, especially in relationship to the nature of thinking itself. Humans can turn to Vidar or Sophia and the archangels that guide human language and culture to assist in battling Ahriman's assault upon the human etheric body. And the etheric body is another term for light body, which, dude, all my videos, I'm trying to teach you light body activation. That's the whole fucking point, is to activate the light body so you can ascend. And there's evil entities that don't want you to. They want to keep you trapped here and feed on you and then create their own like breakaway called the eighth sphere and just keep you trapped in there and just keep siphoning your chi, your plasma. To help defeat the Azuro's attack on the physical body, we can turn to the rank of the Arachai for spiritual assistance. Michael is now the leader of this realm of time spirits and is engaged in defending all souls who can rise up. How many times have I told you how he saved my ass when I'm out of body and I'm attacked? It's just trippy to me. Okay. Michael is now the leader of this realm of time spirits and is engaged in defending all souls who can rise up or ascend to the realm of direct intuition and alignment with the divine. Michael does not dip down to fight and defend us. We must rise up to his realm of cosmic thinking and truly engage our will in the battle for the etheric. The war to stop the second crucifixion of Christ in the etheric can bring forth the second coming of Christ. And this doesn't mean Christ, a man, will return. This is Christ consciousness. The first time Christ consciousness manifested into a man to kind of be a buffer for the future where Satan would take over. And look what it did. It created, it taught all this. Look at what it did for humanity. It just raised us up. And it's Christ consciousness coming back again, but this time in a more etheric, broader sense through millions of people and light workers and etc. Okay. Michael sounds the trumpet to awaken the spiritual scientists who now must become warriors of wisdom, love, and strength. We must become victors of truth, beauty, and goodness in defeat of selfishness, fear, doubt, and hatred. The spiritual warrior must find the strength and courage to help develop higher consciousness that can banish evil from human spiritual self-development and bring forth the higher gifts and capacities of the spirit of self, life, spirit, and spirit human, the three spiritual components of the human being. We are aided and helped from all sides in the war against evil that intends to steal the thinking, feeling, and willing of the human being and capture it in a binary material world that sucks the life and spirit from humans. The evil beings of a higher nature working against us may seem too overwhelming to tackle, but when we remember all of the other spiritual beings who are supporting and fighting along with us, we can muster the courage to pick up the banner of Christ and surge forward in efforts to vanquish the enemy and gain our spiritual home and inheritance. New Earth. The cosmic and earthly battle rages on. There is a cosmic and earthly battle raging over whether universal thinking, imagination, will be lost to humanity. During our time, the decisive war in heaven has come down to the earth because Michael cast both Lucifer and Ahriman, a dragon, parentheses, to the earth. Heaven has come to earth, and the last battle for human freedom is being fought in the human domain. The Norse called... I was reaching for my Mjolnir, but I took it off. Fuck. The, the Norse called it the Battle of Ragnarok, where the old gods died and the young gods find a new home. In the West, we call it apocalypse. The apocalyptic two-horned beast is the new machine realm of binary forces that is trying to steal the soul of humanity. This is a real quick trippy thing that I realized. The saying horny actually comes from that helical Birkeland current of chi that runs through the center of your body, the center of your torus, comes out the top of your head. Okay, and that's what it means, horny. Just full of sexual energy. There are many terrifying images describing the horrors of the apocalypse, but there are also other images that show the healing antidotes to the apocalyptic horror. In the end, those who can hear and sing the new song are saved as they gather around the Lion of Judah, who has tamed the two-horned beast. Even the very methods to develop the counter-image of the two-horned beast are given in the apocalypse, for those with eyes to see and ears to hear. Music, frequency, vibration, cymatics, horns, two-horned beast. Maybe it's referring to stealing that chi out of us. Rudolph Steiner describes the battle between Michael and Ahriman-Sorat in the following characterization. I don't know why the fuck I said that. The entry of Michael into the spiritual evolution of mankind at the end of the 19th century and that of the etheric Christ in the first half of the 20th century will be followed. This is Rudolph basically making a prediction. Let me start again. The entry of Michael into the spiritual evolution of mankind at the end of the 19th century and that of the etheric Christ in the first half of the 20th century will be followed before the close of this century by the coming of the sun demon. In our present Michael age, we have every reason, if we wish to work in the domain of theology, of religion, to turn above all to what the apocalypse can teach us, to learn to think and feel apocalyptically, to raise ourselves up to the spiritual impulses working behind outer existence. And we're all doing that innately. You wouldn't be fucking listening to me right now if you weren't. Rudolf Steiner refers to the apocalyptic times as a second crucifixion of Christ in the etheric realm in the following indication. This is more quotes. The seeds of earthly materialism, which from the 16th century onward were brought into the spiritual world in even ever greater measure by souls passing the portal of death, spread darkness there, producing the black sphere of materialism. Like I said in the beginning, with the where humans basically went into just the intellect and Darwinism, atheism, materialism was born. In a Manichaean way, Christ took his black sphere into his own being in order to transform it. But this caused the death by spiritual suffocation of the angel being through whom Christ had manifested himself since the mystery of Golgotha. This was Christ's sacrifice in the 19th century, a sacrifice compared to that of his physical life in the mystery of Golgotha. It can be regarded as a second crucifixion of Christ in the etheric realm. Golgotha is basically a title for his entire incarnation that he went through when he incarnated here. It's called the mystery of Golgotha to Rudolph Steiner. The battle for the soul of humanity is being fought in the realm of the time spirits, where Michael, the current time spirit and representative of Christ, is battling the Asuras, who are inspired by the fallen spirit of form, Sorat the sun demon. I think the Asuras are like the transhumanists, the elites, New World Order, the minions. This battle reaches all the way down into the human physical body and controls the fate of the human ego, or I am. Rudolph Steiner speaks about Sorat, the sun demon, in the following matter. Sorat is the being that draws the future into the present and the present into the past. Sorat seeks to sever man's connection with the divine spiritual and pull him into its own dark sphere of evil. The time of thrice, 666, 1998, now stands before us. At the end of this century, we shall reach the moment when Sorat will raise his head most powerfully above the flowing stream of evolution, when he will oppose that vision of Christ which human beings who have prepared themselves for it can have through the appearance of the etheric Christ in the first half of the 20th century. There are only 2/3 of a century left before Sorat will emerge with great power. Sorat? Sauron? Saturn? When we look at the man-machine interface, we can learn from Steiner's lecture on January 28, 1923, about the true nature of electricity. Oh, here we go. This is all Rudolph's words right here. The greatest contrast to electricity is light. We look upon light as electricity, we confuse good and evil. When we think of them as atoms in general, when we imagine matter in the form of atoms, we transform them into carriers of evil, carriers of death, for electric atoms are little demons of evil. This is before a lot of scientific revolution, before the atom bomb even. Michael would find cosmic intelligence again at a time when an intelligence intensely exposed to the Ahrimanic forces and bereft of spirituality had taken root among men. For while the intelligence was descending from the cosmos to the earth, the aspirations of the Ahrimanic powers grew ever greater, striving to wrest the cosmic intelligence from Michael. Such was the crisis from the beginning of the 15th century until our day, which expresses itself as the battle of Ahriman and Michael. For Ahriman is using all his power to challenge Michael's dominion over the intelligence that has now become earthly. And Michael, with all the impulses that are his, through his dominion over the intelligence has fallen from him, is striving to take hold of it again on earth at the beginning of his new earthly rule. So Michael finds himself obliged to defend against Ahriman what he had ruled through the eons of time for the benefit of humankind. Mankind stands in the midst of this battle, and among other things, to be anthroposophist is to understand this battle. Anthroposophist, basically spiritual scientist, and anthroposophist, like Sophia is in that, just knowledge, wisdom, intellect, spiritual science. Ahriman is engaged in a battle to win the etheric body of the human being as he works through the realm of thinking to turn human thought into machine thought and numb humans to the power of living thinking that is fired by the warmth of the heart. The Archangel Michael is involved in this battle and tames the dragon of materialism by bringing the cosmic wisdom and love of Sophia and Christ. We don't talk about Sophia enough. It's got 4-4-4-4. Holy shit. Masculine and feminine in everything, okay? And I'm not talking about men and women. I'm talking about energy and consciousness. Men and women are involved too, obviously. I just fucking lost my place. Lucifer is battling in the astral body of the human being through the realm of the angels, where the Holy Spirit and the being anthroposophia support the development of the consciousness soul evolving into the spiritual self. Rudolph Steiner describes this cosmic battle in the following remarks. This is Rudolph's words now. Ahriman stands before us as a cosmic being of the highest imaginable intelligence. I'll shut my mouth. I was going to start talking shit about AI. One who has already taken the intelligence entirely into the individual personal element. If ever we let ourselves in for a discussion with Ahriman, we should inevitably be shattered by the logical conclusiveness, the magnificent certainty of aim with which he manipulates his arguments. In Ahriman's opinion, the really decisive question is this: will cleverness or stupidity prevail? And Ahriman calls stupidity everything that does not contain intelligence within it in full personal individuality. Darwinism, survival of the fittest. Michael, however, is not in the least concerned with the personal quality of intelligence. We human beings are always tempted to make our intelligence personal, as Ahriman has done, but Michael will only administer the cosmic intelligence and not make it personally his own. And now that people have the intelligence, it should again be administered by Michael as something belonging to all mankind, as the common and universal intelligence that benefits all of us alike. Behind the scenes of existence is raging the battle of Michael and all that is of Ahriman. Michael is a spirit filled with strength, and he can only make use of the brave people who are full of courage. You and me, baby. Okay, this is going to be really long, so this is going to be my part 1, okay? And I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'll upload the second part tomorrow. But I will leave a link in the description to this article in my second video, so you can't cheat. I love y'all. I hope you have a fucking amazing weekend, and I hope you can get some kind of a clarity or any kind of help from any of this. I love y'all. I'll see you soon, baby. Let's go. Stay up, goddammit. Yeah.